Hi, my name is Chuck McGee, and today we are talking about how honoring, glorifying, and praising God changed my heart and how it can change yours. I did something yesterday that I never thought that I could ever do. I cried and I cried, but once it was over, I felt a sense of relief that I've never felt before in my life. So stay right there, and I'll be back to tell you all about it. Hi, welcome back to my channel, where this is where we encourage and uplift others, and we never take our eyes, our hearts, and our minds off of God. As you all know, in 1997, I tried to take my own life, and then after that, I ended up doing 5 years in prison. What you don't know is this: I have 8 brothers and sisters, and to this day, they do not acknowledge me at all. My mother and father haven't spoken to me in over 25 years. For years, I have struggled with this. Why would my family treat me the way that they have been treating me? Now, a lot of you may be wondering what I did in order for them to treat me this way. Well, I went to prison because I was writing bad checks, I was misusing credit cards, I was conning people out of money. I was a person that had no foundation, had no structure. I've never done a drug. I've never done any alcohol. I was raised in a very wealthy family, and when I moved out and decided to go out on my own, they cut me off and I was lost. I'm not making any excuses. I'm just telling you the groundwork of how all this became the way it has become. At that time, I didn't have God in my life as my foundation. I was blaming everybody. I wasn't taking any type of responsibility. I used to say I was beaten, I was abused, I was physically and mentally abused, and I was. But then God came into my life. When I was released from prison, I had a pair of boots, a pair of pants, a shirt, and a jacket. That's all I owned to my name. And I came out to no family, nothing. And again, I don't want you to feel bad for me, because I'm in the position today because of God. And I'm trying to explain to you on what honoring and praising and devoting your life to God will get you in your life. So as I got out of prison, I was still fresh in learning about God. I was lost, and thank God a wonderful friend stepped up, gave me a place to live, and then my life has just taken off. And it is all because of God. Don't get me wrong, there has been struggles, a lot of struggles, but I kept reading, I kept seeking, I kept doing everything I could to get closer to God. And the more I got closer to God, the more He showed Himself to me, and the more my life continued just to get better and better. I met this beautiful woman a year out of prison that 14 years later became my wife. And I mean, she is the most amazing woman that I could have ever even dreamed of. And then a year after that, we had this beautiful daughter. And let me just explain something to you. This is how wonderful God has been in my life and can be in yours. When I met my wife, she wasn't able to have children. She was told that she probably won't ever have children. A year later, we had this beautiful daughter. That's God. That's that amazing God. If you pray for it, if you seek it, if you just follow Him, if you make Him your number one priority, He will make you His, and your life will change. And as my life started to change, my family, my mother and father, my brothers and sisters, they still were not a part of my life. I wrote them letters. I asked for forgiveness. I've done everything I can, but yet still no response. But as I kept getting closer to God, my heart every day became stronger, and it was healing. I mean, I can only imagine how many pieces it was in when I met God. But today, it's all one piece, and it's all because of God. Everything is because of God. And as I started growing closer to God, I started realizing that if I want to continue to read and to seek Him, I need to become more godly myself. I needed to step up and forgive my family and take full responsibility of what I've done. Jesus died on the cross for us. He was beaten. He was spit on. He had stakes driven into his body and thorns embedded into his head for our mistakes. So as a believer and someone who wants to live my life as Jesus did, then I needed to step up and accept the responsibilities and the blame of what I did in the past. And yes, forgiving my family who hasn't spoken to me in 25 plus years and who hasn't even been there for me in the past 25 years. So here's what I did yesterday. And let me make this clear. This was one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life. I wrote my father an email and I asked for his forgiveness and I told him that I forgave him and that I took full responsibility of the hurt and the embarrassment and the pain that I caused him and my family. I even went as far as to thanking him for all the things that I carry on with me today that he taught me when I was a little boy. But when I got done writing the email, and just before I went to send it, I just began to cry, uncontrollably cry. And I gathered my thoughts and I pressed send to send that email to him. And the most amazing feeling came over my body. I mean, total freedom. I mean, it was like I almost forgot everything that I have struggled with my family for all these years. It was gone. And I sent that email several days ago, and I have yet to hear back from him. But I'll be honest with you, when I sent the email, I never expected to hear back from him. But the great thing about God is that I sent that email and I asked for forgiveness and I forgave them. But yet, I have not looked for an email. I have not expected an email. God told me almost 2 years ago that I need to shut the door on this topic. That He gave me a beautiful wife and a beautiful daughter and I need to focus solely on them, which is true and which I have been. But when I sent that email off, I think that was God's way of clearing me, cleansing me. That's a better word, cleansing me. And that door is shut. And again, I always say to you, I don't want you to feel bad for me because I shared this video with you because of the steps that I had to take through my growth with God in order to be here today explaining all this amazing things to all of you. And so the step process was I went on my journey of destruction. I went on my journey of destruction. I tried to commit suicide. I went to prison, and I know I'm smiling, but I'm smiling because of where I am today. I got out of prison, had nothing, ended up being a vice president of a large restaurant company and developing my own concept now. Have a beautiful wife who is, I can't even tell you how amazing this woman is. And a beautiful daughter who is even more amazing. And now I'm here sharing the story with all of you. And that's the steps that I had to take in order to be one with God today. So, if you are struggling in your life, if you are suffering in any way, look up. Put everything down. Put your phones down. Turn your TVs off. Turn your computers off. Give that time to God. He's waiting for you, and I'm telling you, my experience, you just heard all the steps, and you see where I was at 20 years ago. I was in a hospital ward, both hands in cast, under suicide watch. 20 years now, I'm here talking to you, married, have a beautiful daughter, and I'm happy. And it's all because of God. So, before ending this video, please do this. just to recap, I owe all of this to God. He never gave up on me. He never stopped loving me. He was patient with me. Today, God is who I wake up for. God is who I honor and glorify. God is who I live for. Thank you for allowing me to share all this with you. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. You'll hear wonderful stories. You'll hear nothing but praising of God and honoring of God and what happens when you do and what happens when you don't. I love all of you guys. And take a moment and look at this video or look at this video. And there's a few people above top of me that I love and honor and respect and watch their videos all the time. God bless all of you.